The specters of the IRS and Fed are often likened to demons, one all year around, the Fed's interest rates, and the other one, especially in the tax season, is a potent symbol of a deeper societal ill. We will explore the damage inflicted on society, particularly young people, by a system that seems rigged against them. The disconnect between the net pay on a paycheck and the gross amount listed on paperwork breeds confusion, frustration, and a sense of being belittled for even questioning it. This disillusionment erodes trust in institutions and discourages financial literacy, a critical skill for navigating adulthood. Do you ever have to explain to your kid that even by working hard, trying to work as much overtime as possible, because of these two entities, IRS and Fed, we receive approximately 45% less money in our hands, you are still poor, you have to feed two demons before you feed yourself and them? You ever face the pain, when your own kid is telling you that, you have no idea what are you doing, that you are a financial illiterate, a maroon and an idiot? Have your kid ever sent you articles and videos about the rich and how they take and park their money in tax havens? How do they use the abundance of tax-dodging shenanigans that they only can use? Ever your child compared you to the rich and call you names because you cannot use the same loopholes and privileges? I remind you here that the IRS commissioner and czar were sad and told they would not go for the rich even though they can and will commit a lot of so-called white-collar crimes. In our terms, fancy theft. The rich class people companies are never that decimated by the interest rate hikes, another form of taxation, forced on us by demon, Fed. The financial publication never touches this subject, and financier so-called experts, I am saying so-called experts because they do not understand the Constitution and they have no clue what was the cause to fight off the British. Taxation with no representation is too high for their IQ level, do not stand up against this illegality and family dismantling cancer, because this frustration often spills over to younger generations, creating a knowledge gap and breeding cynicism. The question started when my kid was in high school, before having a job. Are you rich, Dad? You must be, because you worked 30+ years. When I explained to him the real world, I become the worst dad on the planet, a failure and an idiot because schools do not teach them. The sad reality is we parents have to teach them, over a thick barrier of mistrust or a carefully constructed sense of superiority. So, when they graduate and they are not prepared to grasp the hidden nuances of a prison planet, then, when they get a job, they gonna ask, why doesn't my paycheck match what's on the stub? Isn't stupid? Imagine a young person, just starting their career, receiving their first paycheck. Excited about their independence, they look at the bottom line, their net pay, the money they can actually spend. But the accompanying paperwork lists a much larger gross amount. Confused, they ask, what's the difference? Where's the rest of my money going? Too often, the answer comes in the form of dismissive sighs and explanations filled with jargon like deductions and withholding. This dismissal feels like being called stupid for simply wanting to understand how their own money is handled. By then the damage is done, the fracture between the parents and children is widened. The psychopathic, sinister plan of the greed and capitalism-infused banker demons worked on them, as planned, divide and conquer, equal, the family unity is going to be seriously damaged. This experience isn't an isolated incident. It's a symptom of a larger issue, a lack of financial education. Schools, owned by the psychopath bankers, often don't equip young people with the knowledge to understand taxes, leaving them feeling powerless and preyed upon by a seemingly faceless entity, the IRS and Feds. This lack of transparency fosters suspicion and resentment towards the parents first, and for a good few challenging and painful years, and just later towards a system that feels designed to take a bigger bite than it lets on, and which is the real culprit for all this macabre circus of fiasco. Way later on, we will observe, the damage isn't just financial. The damage isn't limited to frustration, it's a blow to trust in institutions. creates a breeding ground for misinformation and distrust. When young people feel like they're being squeezed by a system that doesn't explain itself, it breeds cynicism. They may start questioning the fairness of the system as a whole, leading to disengagement from civic participation. Will come the time for some youngsters, the time they will see for themselves, that the conspiracy theories about the deep state stealing money are a reality. They hear about the financial deficits and the department ceiling being pushed up to the high heaven, and how the government is spending their grandparents, parents and their money, as drunken sailors. This distrust in institutions can have far-reaching consequences, eroding social cohesion and hindering governance. So, what's the solution? First, a change in attitude is needed. Talking about taxes shouldn't be shrouded in shame or confusion. Instead, it should be part of a larger conversation about financial literacy. Schools should equip young people with the knowledge they need to understand their constitution and paychecks, learn about fair tax and navigate the financial world with confidence. Second, the system itself needs to be way more transparent. Paycheck stubs clear of forced deduction and no more tax forms. A focus on user-friendly information, such as the fair tax, can go a long way in demystifying the process and fostering trust. Finally, let's address the dismissive attitude towards those who ask questions. Instead of rolling their eyes, those in the know should be patient educators. Empowering young people with financial knowledge strengthens society as a whole. Taxes shouldn't be a demonic mystery, but a transparent system we all contribute to voluntarily and only when we decide to spend our money on stuff we buy. Parents can lead by example, involving their children in budgeting, and discussing pay stubs and liberty. The current system, with its demonized, hard on the working class by absolutely useless against with-collar criminals, IRS and Fed, and extensive, confusing paperwork, is a recipe for a disillusioned generation. By prioritizing financial education, promoting transparency and fostering a culture of open communication about the fair tax, we can build a society where young people feel empowered, not squeezed, by the system, and pave the way for a more informed and engaged citizenry. Please tell me, did your children have tensions about financial issues? How much take them to fully grasp how this Hunger Games style society works? Do you and your family want financial freedom and liberation? Do you and your family want to keep the whole paycheck? Making approximately 45% more money instantly. You would like to buy big items such as a house, car and so on, interest-free. Then please do not hesitate to contact your representatives about fair tax and auditing the bankers behind the Fed. It is your constitutional right. You and your family, my fellow working class colleague, deserve a fair share of enjoying life, liberty and the pursuit of happiness. Please, tell me what you think, and how you feel about this issue. Analyze it, brainstorm it, debate it, and if you like it, share it. Thank you for watching, I appreciate you, and God bless you.